Welcome to the Federal Youth Network Departmental Showcase. Bienvenue au Ministère sous les projecteurs avec le réseau des jeunes fonctionnaires fédéraux. I would like to begin by acknowledging that I am here on the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. The Mi'kmaq have lived on this land since time immemorial, and I encourage all of you to acknowledge the land that you're on as well. Certaines d'entre vous viennent peut-être de diverses régions du pays et je vous encourage donc à prendre un moment pour reconnaître le territoire que vous occupez. Feedback from students and new public servants has highlighted to us that there's an interest in learning more about the inner workings of each department and agency. To support public service renewal, recruitment, and retention, the Federal Youth Network is offering this series featuring select organizations where they can address perceptions about their departments and agencies, highlight some of the important work that they do, and share with potential employees what a typical role in their organization looks like. This summer, we're showcasing different departments each week, and today we're happy to welcome Statistics Canada with us. As we move through today's session, please share your comments in the chat space. So that's where you can engage with each other. And you can ask questions to the speakers by using the Q&A button in the language of your choice. In the Q&A function, you can upvote questions that you like by clicking the thumbs up. So please be conscious not to write the same question as someone else and use the thumbs up to upvote someone else's question if it's already there. Au fur et à mesure que nous progressons dans la session aujourd'hui, veuillez partager vos questions en utilisant le bouton Q&A dans la langue de votre choix. Vous pouvez aussi, pour les questions que vous voulez poser, en cliquant sur le bouton Thumbs Up. La session aujourd'hui est bilingue, alors soyez à l'aise de parler dans la langue de votre choix. This session is bilingual, so feel free to communicate and interact in the language of your choice. Not everything will be spoken a second time, so just feel free to jump in whichever language you like. The session is being recorded and the link will be posted tomorrow on our social media channels for future viewing pleasure. La session aujourd'hui va être enregistrée et on vous partagera le lien demain. So without further ado, welcome to the team from Stats Canada. Take it away, and we're looking forward to learning from you.
Thank you, Jen. Hey everyone, my name is Ruti, and I'm today's showcase's moderator. Before we start the showcase, let's start with some poll questions. Can we start from the first one, please? This might take a few seconds. Okay, the first one. Are you a student employee or a young professional? Êtes-vous un étudiant, une étudiante ou une jeune professionnelle? We cannot see you, but we know you're there. And this question can help us to know more about you. Okay, oh, so it's half and half. That's nice. So far it's half and half, great. So some of our speakers today, including myself, we started our career as a student, but some of them also start as a young professional directly. Yeah, so it looks like we have like 51% of students and the rest are young professionals. Okay, next question. Does StatsCan have regional offices across the country? Est-ce que StatsCan a des bureaux régionaux à travers du pays? So similar to many other federal departments, StatsCan's office is in the National Capital Region, actually is in Ottawa in Tennis Pasture. But does it have regional offices in other provinces and territories? So 9% of you guys answered no, but actually we do have regional offices across the entire country. You will know more about this later on in our showcase. Okay, I guess we're ready to move on to the third question. Are there positions for librarians at StatsCan? Y a-t-il des postes de bibliothécaires à StatsCan? When I first started, I thought the people who work at StatsCan are data scientists, methodologists, statisticians, or analysts. I wasn't so sure about librarians. And okay, you guys are so smart, and we do have positions for librarians, and actually you will hear from one of them later on in the showcase. Okay, moving on to the next question, please. Also our last one. Does StatsCan have an app? Est-ce que StatsCan a une application mobile? I think I should set these questions more more challenging. Okay. So 84% of you guys said yes, and the rest said no. Okay, so StatsCan does have an app. It's called StatsCan. You can find it in the App Store. This is where you can find the most recent publications from StatsCan, and you can also customize the subjects to get the publications of our interest. So yeah, that's basically the end of the poll. And now let's start our showcase. I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay, I see people nodding, great. Yes. Welcome to all, bienvenue à tous et toutes. This session will be delivered in a bilingual format. Please feel free to ask questions or share comments in the language of your choice. Cette session sera offerte dans un format bilingue. N'hésitez pas à poser vos questions ou partager vos commentaires dans la langue de votre choix. I wish to acknowledge that the lands on which we're presenting this event in the National Capital Region are part of the traditional unceded territory of the Anishinaabe people. I encourage you to learn more about and acknowledge the nations of the lands which you're currently on. This is the agenda of today's showcase. First off, myself and the co-producers will introduce ourselves. Then we'll talk briefly about StatsCan in terms of our mandate, organizational structure, regional offices, and our Modernization Initiative. Then our speakers will give their individual presentations. They all come from diverse backgrounds, so we'll hear many interesting stories. This is followed by the section about job opportunities at StatsCan. And lastly, we have a Q&A. My name is Yu Ting, and I'm today's moderator. J'ai rejoint StatsCan en août 2020 en tant qu'étudiante coopérative dans l'équipe de l'enquête mensuelle sur le commerce pro. Et en janvier de cette année, j'ai eu une nouvelle opportunité et je travaille maintenant comme analyste dans l'équipe de galerie devez. In the monthly wholesale trade survey team, I analyze the wholesale sales and inventory data in terms of their monthly movement and performance. I co-authored the analysis reports with this data insights, which are published through Daily, our StatsCan official release platform. Currently, in the quality of life team, I work mainly on the quality of life hub in terms of drafting and validating quality of life indicator pages to upload them on the hub, and also working with internal and external partners to enrich the content and function of the hub. In terms of my membership status at StatsCan, I am StatsCan's student representative, and also I'm a member of StatsCan Professional Network Student Subcommittee. A bit about my education background. I did my undergrad in public administration in China. In 2019, I came to Canada to do my master's degree in public and international affairs at U Ottawa. And I was an international student. Now I'm a foreign worker working for the government. That's everything for me. I'll pass it to Maruk.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maruk Shah. I'm an analyst and was hired through the recruitment program. In my first rotation, I worked in the Center of Labor Market Information. My division worked with the LFS, Labor Force Survey, analyzing survey results, producing custom tabulation requests, publishing monthly LFS results in the daily, keeping Canadians informed of the current state of the labor market. In my current or second rotation, I work in the Center of Population Health Data. My division works with the Canadian Coroner and Medical Examiner Database, CCMed, to identify emerging and known safety hazards to contribute to a decrease in preventable deaths among Canadians. My memberships at Statistics Canada include the Statistics Canada Professional Network Student Subcommittee, Visible Minority Consulting Group, Women's Subcommittee, Network of Asian Federal Employees, Muslim Federal Employees Network, and the Workplace Wellness Committee. A bit about my educational background. I graduated from York University with 2 undergraduate degrees in biomedical science, psychology, and statistics. And I'm currently studying epidemiology, specializing in health statistics at Purdue University in the United States. And I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Thank you, Marouk. So hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm also a recruit analyst. J'ai gradué de l'Université McGill avec un bac en économie et en mathématiques. J'ai tout de suite fait ma maîtrise en économie à l'Université de Toronto. J'ai gradué, pris un mois de vacances et commencé à travailler à Statistique Canada en tant que recruit, un programme de 2 ans. J'ai fait ma première rotation dans la division des comptes des industries. That is the industry account division. Then I went on and I started my second rotation about a month ago dans la division du commerce et des comptes internationaux. That is the International Accounts and Trade Division. And I am a member of Statistics Canada Professional Network Student Subcommittee. And now I'll pass it on to Marouk.
Statistics Canada's mandate is to produce statistics that help Canadians better understand their country, its population, resources, economy, and society. Statistics Canada's mission is to serve Canada with high-quality statistical information that matters. Main roles include providing statistical information analysis on the economic and social structure of Canada and promoting the use of recognized statistical practices and standards. In the earlier poll, if you selected that Statistics Canada has regional offices across Canada, you are correct. Statistics Canada's regional offices are located across the country, 10 provinces and 3 territories, and you can use the link in the title to learn more about how to apply for positions in the regional offices. The organizational structure of Statistics Canada includes 8 fields: the Chief Statistician of Canada, Emile Aurora, and 7 fields managed by assistant chief statisticians. And to learn more about the respective divisions and roles, please use the link in the title. I will now pass it to Rooting to discuss Statistics Canada's Modernization Initiative.
Thank you, Marouk. Okay. So now we're looking at the Modernization Initiative at StatsCan. As you can see from the image, it covers the entire business process at StatsCan, and it has 5 pillars. This initiative is about moving beyond a survey-first approach to an approach based on new methods and integrating data from a variety of existing sources. It's about making our data more accessible and easier to use by developing new tools and enhancing the ability to analyze and visualize the data. Lastly, it's about helping more Canadians use data to make evidence-based decisions. On the right-hand side, you will see 2 videos, one about modernization, the other one about StatsCan 100 years and counting. These 2 videos are delivered by our Chief Statistician, Emile Aurora. Please feel free to watch them later on after the showcase. Now that we know a little bit about StatsCan, it's time to hear from our speakers. I'll pass it to our first speaker, Jordan. Over to you.
Thank you, Ruti. So my name is Jordan Hu. I am currently a subject matter unit head with the Canadian Housing Survey. My educational background is in biomedical science, and I hold a master's in applied economics, and both from the University of Waterloo. I first joined the government of Canada as a co-op student as part of my master's program. And while in the public service, I learned about the EC Recruitment and Development Program, which I applied for, succeeded, and graduated from. To frame my showcase in the next couple of minutes, you'll see an image on my slide describing the 4 steps of the data journey, including step 1, define, find, and gather. Step 2, explore, clean, and describe. Step 3, analyze and model. And finally, step 4, tell the story. As Ruti mentioned, the mandate of StatsCan produces data that helps Canadians better understand their country. And there are a number of different data collection tools used by StatsCan, with surveying being one of the main tools. Using the Canadian Housing Survey as an example, I'll briefly walk through the steps. In step 1, the Canadian Housing Survey is conducted biannually in partnership with CMHC to support the development of the National Housing Strategy. The CHS collects information about housing needs and experiences of Canadians. The collected information supports policy decisions to improve housing conditions and greater access to affordable housing. The CHS uses a lean approach to collect data where we focus on insight that is not already available at Statistics Canada. For example, we know census no longer asks questions about your income. Instead, we collect that information from administrative tax data. This reduces the response burden and improves data quality. The CHS uses the same approach where income information contacts and other characteristics from other StatsCan data assets. And on our questionnaire, we focus on housing experiences of Canadians, such as the subjective satisfaction to their neighborhood and dwelling satisfaction. Once the data is collected, we have a standardized process to process the data and put the data out there. And this is part of step 2. As subject matter analysts, we are there to support our production colleagues, which may include defining new concepts and specifications for derived variables. Depending on the nature of the project, some programs may stop after step 2, where others start at step 3. Within the CHS, the main focus of my unit is on steps 3 and 4, exploring and analyzing the data to uncover insights that may be interesting for Canadians. Once we have identified these insights, we find an appropriate vehicle to share this information to our Canadians, which includes a short daily, perhaps an in-depth analytical article, an infographic, and of course, the all too familiar tabular data. We also receive custom data requests as well as collaborations. For example, with the Federal Housing Advocates, we prepared a series of fact sheets highlighting housing experiences for vulnerable populations. Outside of the Canadian Housing Survey, I've had a chance to work on a number of other projects thanks to the EC Recruitment Development Program. I've worked on data development projects linking administrative data on education, social housing, to other StatsCan data assets, such as the census of population, the immigration database, etc. I personally stayed within the social statistics field, but I've known other people in my cohort who picked a more diverse route. Some really enjoyed their time working with the Chief Statistician's Office. Outside of my day-to-day, I'm part of a number of different functional groups. For example, I am an M365 champion as a representative for my division, and a member of the Visible Minority Consolidated Group based on my experience as a Chinese immigrant. These groups offer me an opportunity to be involved in or be prepared for organizational changes that impact me and my colleagues. There are also a number of communities of practice that you can be part of to develop your expertise with other colleagues. For example, the foresight community, data analytics, or data visualization. Separately, we also have a great mentoring program that connects colleagues with more senior leaders. Specifically, what I enjoy about StatsCan is the people and its culture. It goes without saying that working with like-minded colleagues makes things easier and less stressful. As a learner, I'm always intrigued by the depth and breadth of the topics in our agency. And you really see the people behind these products are true professionals and trusted subject matter experts. Finally, if there are 2 things I leave you with, as the first thing is, as the old cliche says, change is inevitable, so you want to be adaptable. Being open to learn new things and embracing the changes as opportunities. The second, a bit unrelated to the first, in terms of career progression, whether you have a plan or not, you can't go wrong by doing good work and bringing value to the files you touch and building relationships along the way. This was a brief showcase of my experience. I'm happy to chat further during our Q&A or send me a question offline. With that, I'll pass the floor to the next presenter, Danielle.
Thank you so much, Joran. Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Bader. I'm a junior research analyst in the Health Analysis Division at Statistics Canada, and I specifically work on the Vulnerable Populations Research team. So really the best description of my role is that it's an academic position without teaching. So what that means is in my role, I review relevant literature, I write research proposals, meet with stakeholders, plan and conduct statistical analyses, write and revise manuscripts, both for internal and external publications. And I will be presenting the projects at conferences. So how did I get here? Basically a lot of university. So I completed my BA in criminology at York University. I then completed my master's in criminology and criminal justice policy at the University of Guelph. And most recently, I completed my PhD in sociology at the University of Guelph. So in addition to my educational background and training, there are a couple key experiences that contributed to my career development and led me to seek a full-time position at Statistics Canada. So in 2019, I was hired as a statistical assistant at the Branch Research Data Center at the University of Guelph. And this was a part-time administrative position that I took on at the end of my PhD and really involved overseeing the operation of the center. And I would say this was really a key driver for me in ending up where I am now. In addition to being hired as a statistical assistant, I also took on various teaching assistant positions that involve leading tutorials for undergraduate research methods courses. And finally, I developed subject matter expertise on gender-based violence through research assistant positions I took on through my master's and PhD programs related to gender-based violence, as well as the primary research that I conducted to fulfill my degree requirements. And so when I reflect back on my career path and some lessons that I have taken away, two key things that stand out for me were expanding my network and diversifying my skills. So it was through taking on the part-time position at the Research Data Center that I ever considered a full-time position at Statistics Canada. And it was through this role that I made great connections and saw the organization as a place that I could continue doing research on important issues to Canadians. And there were a lot of skills and experience that I drew on in my application when applying for the position. And these included publishing a study using advanced quantitative analyses in a peer-reviewed journal, working as a teaching assistant, working in the Research Data Center. I was selected as a finalist for the Shirk Storytellers competition in 2019. I talked about my ability to communicate and interpret research results for a non-technical audience. I had experience working with vulnerable populations on sensitive research topics, and I had experience with project management. So really, the takeaway here is that it was way more than just my hard quantitative skills that led me to this role. And in terms of what I enjoy, really the most attractive thing for me was the positive workplace culture. And I noticed this very quickly when I started working as a statistical assistant. I truly have great colleagues that are approachable and supportive and provide excellent mentorship. I would say that Statistics Canada is really a team effort all the way from survey design to dissemination. And although I completed formal schooling, I'm continuously learning and building my skills. So every day is a new challenge when working on data analysis, but it's also equally rewarding. And there are so many opportunities to continue learning and advance professional development, both internally and externally to Statistics Canada. And I want to add that I feel very fortunate to work on research projects that I'm passionate about and that contribute to a better society for all of us. So just some current projects that I'm working on. I'm actually very new to the Health Analysis Division. I joined in March 2022, just after I finished my PhD. So I've been working on projects related to child maltreatment. And my first task involved reviewing research and population-based data available about child maltreatment in Canada. And from that, I became familiar with Statistics Canada holdings related to the topic. And I drafted my first publication. And from this task, I noted that there was a heavy focus on mostly physical types of child maltreatment, and we didn't know very much about non-physical maltreatment, and that led me to my next couple projects. So I'm currently working on a short analysis examining non-physical types of child maltreatment in Canada, and I'm also looking at the relationship between non-physical child maltreatment and mental health conditions. So if you're interested in the work that we do in the Health Analysis Division, feel free to use the link in my slide and take a look at health reports. So that's an internally peer-reviewed publication from the work in the division and showcases the fantastic work of my colleagues and projects that they are working on. Thank you very much.
All right. Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Elizabeth Nash et je suis bibliothécaire à la Bibliothèque de Statistique Canada. Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Nash, and I'm a librarian at the Statistics Canada Library. Alors, un bibliothécaire fédéral est très différent d'un bibliothécaire dans une bibliothèque publique, et aujourd'hui, j'aimerais parler un peu de mon travail. En ce qui concerne mon éducation, j'ai obtenu mon bac en langue et littérature anglaise de l'Université Western et ma maîtrise en sciences de l'information de l'Université de McGill. Dans de nombreux cas, pour être un bibliothécaire, vous avez besoin d'un diplôme accrédité par l'American Library Association, bien que les emplois plus techniques soient plus flexibles avec le type d'éducation requise. Si vous avez des questions sur les étapes à suivre pour devenir bibliothécaire, n'hésitez pas à me contacter. J'ai d'abord travaillé comme spécialiste de l'information à Innovation, Sciences et Développement économique Canada. J'ai ensuite été embauchée comme bibliothécaire à Statistique Canada. En termes de bénévolat, j'ai été pendant 5 ans secrétaire du réseau stratégique des bibliothèques fédérales du Canada. C'était une excellente façon de réseauter avec la communauté et d'apprendre à connaître d'autres bibliothécaires. So in terms of my job, the bread and butter of what I do is research and reference services. For example, if a Statistics Canada employee needs to know what scholarly information exists on any given topic, then it's my job to do a literature search on their behalf. I've done searches on everything from how to use satellites to count greenhouses, to measuring heavy metals in hair, to looking at COVID's impact on the labor force. I think of myself like a personal grocery shopper. I find academic articles, but I don't analyze them. So it's like I buy ingredients, but it's up to the analysts and experts to actually make the recipe. In terms of special projects, I created a journal integrity guide to help employees avoid predatory journals. I also created a historic map guide. Sometimes clients need to know boundaries of land from a century ago, such as for a land claim. These maps were scattered across census documents, so I created a guide that put all these maps in one place. This map here on the screen is from 1871. We do have these maps physically in the library, and they're always fun to pull out to look at them. I love working at StatsCan because I work with both internal and external clients. I especially love working with the public to track down information that's important to their community, whether it's for a cultural or legal or social reason. For example, I've helped museums track down population numbers, I've helped lawyers find income data, and I've assisted individuals who are interested in learning more about the history of their community. Because of the wide variety of questions, I'm never bored. In terms of lessons, I would recommend signing up for any course that interests you because learning doesn't have to stop when you graduate. As well, asking for help is really important. My motto is that it's better to be embarrassed than to be wrong. That said, you shouldn't be embarrassed in the first place to ask for help, but sometimes it happens. All that to say, if I'm unsure of something, I'll ask my colleagues for help to ensure that I'm not giving wrong information to clients. Pour résumer, être bibliothécaire nécessite de la curiosité, des compétences en recherche et un désir d'aider les clients. Pour certains postes comme le mien, l'amour de l'histoire peut certainement aider. Dans de nombreux cas, les clients nous contactent parce qu'ils ont épuisé tous les autres étapes. Nous sommes très fiers de nos niveaux élevés de service à la clientèle à la bibliothèque et cela me donne vraiment un sentiment de joie de savoir que j'aide les gens à accéder à des informations et des données qui seraient autrement très difficiles à trouver. Bien sûr, si vous avez des questions ou si vous voulez en savoir plus sur la façon de devenir bibliothécaire fédéral, n'hésitez pas à me contacter. Merci and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. My name is Johan Fernandez. I'm a data scientist at the Data Science Division in Statistics Canada. My background is in computer science. I have a bachelor's and a master's in the same field. My master's was specialized in applied artificial intelligence. However, I didn't start my career in AI. I started my career as a software developer in an SAP UI5 full stack developer role. But my interest and my sort of peak motivation towards artificial intelligence never died. So I pursued a master's in the same field. And while I was working on my master's, I had the opportunity to work as a research and teaching assistant where I got to work with projects as well as courses that dealt with AI and the application of AI towards solving complex tasks such as information extraction. So the fields I was interested in were, as I mentioned, artificial intelligence, and of course the impact it has on other fields like computer vision and document analysis. So that further led me to join Statistics Canada, where I work as the data scientist in the information extraction team. In my team, we deal with projects where we try to extract information from documents, which could be in PDF or image format. Now, these documents come from various domains, so the layout is never consistent, but the information within those documents is very important, and extracting the information could help analysts at Statistics Canada and other divisions design surveys that could be very helpful for gaining information from Canadians or gaining information on the type of assistance that would be required by other cities or provinces in Canada. So the team I work in, the information extraction team, we use a mix of machine learning and rule-based techniques to extract the information that would ordinarily be locked within these documents. And then we make it presentable for the analysts so that they can use it for their analysis. But while my interest is in information extraction, the data science division is not limited to just this specific type of project. We have other types of projects. For example, we have a sentiment analysis using economic factors, which uses natural language processing. In addition to that, we have other projects like in computer vision, such as analyzing the health of crops using satellite images. For more information on the type of projects that we have in the data science division, you can click on the link that I've shared on my slide. You'll see a list of different projects that we have in this division. Now, while my interest and my pursuit is in artificial intelligence, and while I did study specifically in that field, I assumed that was all I had to learn. But while working in StatsCan, I got the opportunity to learn even more and see how much more I can apply that knowledge and learn the types of problems that AI may or may not be able to solve. So there's that umpteen number of opportunities that you get while working at Statistics Canada. Another thing that I've learned is feedback is very essential. That feedback could be positive or negative, but if constructed in the right manner, it is very helpful to help you grow as a professional. So it's always good to gain some feedback from your colleagues. Now, whilst working in Statistics Canada, as I mentioned, you get the opportunity to learn a lot in the data science division because we get to communicate with other divisions who have projects and documents that need their information extracted from. We get to see different kinds of problems that other departments work with. So the learning never stops. And more importantly, we get to see the positive impact that our work could potentially have down the line as we make some of that locked information available to analysts and then hopefully can have a positive impact on Canadian lives further down the line. That is all from me. I will now pass the floor on to Francis.
Thank you, Johan. Hi, my name is Francis Zerka, and I am a technical advisor in the Cloud and Workload Migration Division at Statistics Canada. My division leads the modernization of software applications as well as the infrastructure that they run on. We migrate existing projects from legacy systems that are no longer supported, such as outdated databases, decommissioned data centers, or discontinued software frameworks, to modern cloud solutions. And we also get involved with the architecture of new projects so that they can adhere to the latest best practices and the most appropriate tools. My team, the Cloud Native Solutions team, is at the cutting edge of all this with containerization, orchestration, configuration as code, continuous deployment and integration pipelines. In brief, we automate as much as possible, as securely as possible, and grant new capabilities such as scalability, resiliency, and observability. We do all of this on what we call our Cloud Native platform, which is based on Kubernetes and other Cloud Native Computing Foundation software. If you'd like to learn more about it, please follow the link at the bottom of this slide or send me an email anytime. I'd like to mention that despite all its complexity, this work has some of the most relaxed formal educational requirements. Generally, any 2-year diploma with some emphasis on computer science will suffice, and even that can be replaced by experience, whether that is work experience or personal projects. We recognize that a lot of what we work with is so new and changes so quickly that it doesn't make it into most curriculums. But the flip side is that continuous learning is critical. We regularly obtain certifications, take online courses, and attend technical conferences, although virtually these days, throughout each year. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about how I got here and what I enjoy most about it. I started out studying pure and applied science in Cégep, but I realized that computer science interested me the most, so I followed with a bachelor's in that field. When I joined Statistics Canada through the Computer Systems Recruitment and Development Program, I initially decided to combine the two, so I accepted my first placement in the Data Analytics as a Service division, where I developed virtual workstations for data scientists while learning about analytical software as well as machine learning pipelines. But I found that it was the underlying software infrastructure that I was truly passionate about, how to make things scale and align, run as best as it can, and become easier to track and manage. So I asked lots of questions about not just how things work, but why they work one way and not another, as well as how they could be improved. I reached out to people doing things that I was interested in whenever we crossed paths, such as at conferences or cross-team meetings, and I asked how I could get involved with or learn more about their work. I started out with very little knowledge, but I discovered multiple avenues to develop that expertise. These included mentoring, shadowing opportunities, tutorials, courses, and part-time engagements, starting out with making simple improvements and progressing in complexity as I learned more. Eventually, this led to both my placement on and my advancement in my current team. I continue to be grateful for these learning opportunities and excited that they really never end. But most of all, I enjoy that we share our knowledge in turn, on multiple levels, with other teams at StatsCan, no matter their level of technical expertise, with other government departments, such as Health Canada, the CRA, and more, and with the worldwide open source community. It's a continuous process of teaching and learning, iterating and improving, and I am proud to be a part of it. That concludes my portion of the showcase. I'll be happy to answer any questions during the Q&A period or after. Feel free to reach out. Thank you, and stay tuned to learn about employment opportunities at Statistics Canada.
Thank you, France. I hope the echo is better now. Can someone just tell me if it's fine or am I still echoing?
Sarah, you're still echoing a little bit.
Okay. Then maybe I'll try turning off my headphones. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay, I guess it's better now. So now I'm going to be talking about the job opportunities at Statistics Canada. These are just like different ways of getting it. It doesn't mean there's the only 5 ways. It's like what we highlighted and thought could be interesting to mention, but again, it's really up to everybody. Everybody can find their own path to Statistics Canada. The first one, I'll be doing both in French and in English. Une des premières façons d'obtenir un emploi à Statistics Canada serait par alternance, travail, études ou stage. C'est une expérience d'environ 4 mois. Il faut consulter les tableaux d'affichage du centre de carrière de votre campus ou centre de placement. Les offres ne se trouvent pas sur le site Internet de la Commission de la fonction publique. Statistics Canada va s'adresser directement aux établissements d'enseignement. So these are co-op and internship programs. They're 4 months. And Statistics Canada will contact directly the university. So you'll find it on your university job post portal, whatever platform they use. And it won't be posted on the official website. Then we have the programme fédéral d'expérience de travail étudiant. Celui-ci est géré par la Commission de la fonction publique. Si vous fréquentez à temps plein une école secondaire, un cégep, un collège, un institut de technologie ou une université, vous pouvez remplir la demande en ligne du PFETE. Il n'y a pas vraiment de date limite, c'est vraiment un ongoing basis. Et c'est vraiment quand il y a une opportunité qui se présente. So this is for the Federal Student Work Experience Program. That is for everybody that is full-time at a high school, CJEP, college, institute, or a university. It's kind of an ongoing basis whenever there's a need. And there's no deadline. You just apply online, and whenever there's an opening and you qualify, Statistics Canada will be reaching out. Another way of getting an opportunity or getting to know more about Statistics Canada is through networking. And that can be simply connecting with someone on LinkedIn, going to info sessions, and just reaching out. Donc, le réseautage est assez important. C'est toujours intéressant de connecter avec quelqu'un sur LinkedIn, de réseauter, d'aller à une séance d'information. N'importe quoi qui vous permet de pouvoir parler avec quelqu'un de Statistics Canada qui pourrait partager son expérience. Then another way of getting an opportunity for Statistics Canada is through GC Jobs, GC Emploi. C'est simplement la banque de données disponible pour la fonction publique. And that is, the platform where you can find all the job openings for public servants. Then lastly, I'm going to be talking about the EC Recruitment and Development, the analysis stream. That is le programme de recrutement et de perfectionnement des EC. C'est un programme qui combine une formation structurée obligatoire avec une expérience de travail pratique. Ça consiste environ en 2 périodes de 12 mois. C'est une rotation. Et les étudiants ou les analystes qui font partie du programme vont recevoir de l'aide d'un mentor et travailler en collaboration étroite avec un gestionnaire de programme de ressources humaines. The EC Recruitment and Development Program works, it's 2 years. There was actually a question in the Q&A. You start as an EC2, you do your first rotation in your home division, then you'll rotate towards a second division, and that is for you to bring some knowledge to home division on something different, kind of explore a new opportunity in Statistics Canada. During your second rotation, you are promoted as an EC4, and then you go back to your home division after the end of your second rotation. I also saw someone asking in the Q&A if it was possible to work in a regional office as an EC. It is. I'm currently working in the Montreal regional office, and I'm an EC technically based in Ottawa. And as long as you go 2 days per week to the regional office, you're fine to be working outside of the regional like outside of Ottawa. If you're interested in having further information, you can refer to the Muslim Federal Employee Network Career Resource handout by clicking on the link here. They provided an excellent resource outlining some career links and steps. And you can find everything in that folder by clicking on the link down there. If you have any other information, it provides like every single step and includes everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks to everyone for your presentation. And now let's move on to the Q&A session. I'll just stop sharing for the moment. Okay, so based on popularity, the most popular question is how flexible is the work environment? Oh, sorry, the popularity just changed, but we'll still keep with this. How flexible is the work environment? Are the employees allowed to work from home full time or only in special cases? Are you going back to the office from September? Many questions are similar to this one, so I can answer a little bit, and also I'll direct to my colleagues. So at StatsCan, we have started to returning to office 8 days a month, and for people in the regional offices, currently the policy is that they should connect with the regional offices and go back there. I'll direct this to Sarah if you'd like to add more.
Yes, so as I've mentioned before, if you're technically supposed, and it could be up to changes, we have no specific direction, but so far what has been told is you have to go back to the office twice a week. And if you're not in Ottawa and you have a regional office, you go back to the regional office. So let's say you're in Montreal, you can go to the regional office in Montreal twice a week or more if you'd like. And same for Toronto. And I think they're opening, there's one in Sherbrooke, there's one in Halifax. So that is how it would work for the regional office. Again, bear in mind this could be up to changes. The pandemic is very unpredictable, but it's the direction we have so far.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else would like to add more to this? Or we can move on to the next.
I just want to add
Sure.
one thing. I mean, I was hired during COVID, but I think one thing that makes StatsCan what it is being in person and connecting with colleagues. So that's really a core value of StatsCan. And so the move is towards encouraging more in-person interaction.
Yes, I agree. Anyone else would like to add to this question? Okay, great. Moving on to the next one. What is the work culture like at StatsCan and how satisfied are the current employees? I can start us off. So as I mentioned, I am a foreign worker and StatsCan is where my career started at StatsCan, and I've been feeling so supported, and the work culture is extremely inclusive, and my managers, no matter which team I'm in, they value your mental health, your well-being, your work-life balance, and they also support learning opportunities. Like currently, I'm not a recruit, but I can still join the French learning program. So I really, really enjoy working in StatsCan, and I think many of my colleagues here, you can feel their satisfaction with StatsCan during their showcase. And I'll also pass this to Maruk for her input.
Yeah, just adding on to what Ruding says, like as a new recruit over the last year and a half, I joined StatsCan virtually. So I never went into the office. I didn't have the opportunity to meet people in person. I did not feel that way at all at StatsCan, that I didn't have the opportunity to connect with people. There are ample opportunities for you to network through virtually and whatnot. So I was in French training. There's like 10 blocks. I did part 1, 2, and now I'm on to block 3. That was a great opportunity. There's mentorship opportunities where you can sign up and be paired with a mentor that's going to kind of guide you throughout the process as a new employee, which is also great. And you can join so many different types of committees, organizations, charity events, and continuously volunteer as well. So definitely very satisfied with my experience at Statistics Canada so far. And if anyone else would like to add anything, feel free.
Anyone would like to add?
If I can add to that, yeah, even as like working from a regional office, I still feel like it's extremely welcoming. Even if I'm not working directly with my colleagues, we still go for lunch. We have meetings on Wednesdays where we discuss different topics. It's been super inclusive, and that's with people that, if it wasn't from like this telework environment, hybrid model, I would not have met people working in such diverse departments. And the culture is great. I also started a year ago, and I've been always supported by my team. Managers are extremely welcoming. Even the chiefs, senior management, everybody always has like an open door. You can go ask any questions, and you're always going to be extremely supported. It's a great environment to learn because people are really here to encourage you and support you through your career.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else would like to add, or we can move on? Okay, moving on to the next question. Was artificial intelligence and advanced computing doing more data analysis work? Does that mean that StatsCan will have a smaller workforce with a greater percentage of employees with PhDs? I'm personally not so sure with the answer. Anyone else have some clue?
I can mention it from the data science perspective, since we are working in artificial intelligence. We are not looking to replace analysts because we cannot it's impossible to replace analysts. From our division, we are using AI to extract locked information that would, I would say, waste the analyst's time in extracting that information. So what they would spend days and time to extract, we try to give it to them as quickly as possible so that they can use their knowledge to then analyze and predict things that are up to their experience. So I don't think, at least from the data science division, I can say we aren't looking into the future where we don't have human analysts. I think Zarin and Daniel might be able to answer from the analyst perspective as well.
I'm not entirely sure. It was a requirement for my position to have a PhD, and I understand that it's uncommon for recruits to have a first rotation. They might have a second rotation in the health analysis division. And part of the reasoning is that there's specific training you get in doing research, from developing a proposal, understanding how to collate research on a particular topic, develop models, develop approaches to a research topic. All that kind of training comes through doing a PhD program. And so it seems like my division in particular is moving in that direction, but by no means does that apply to other divisions within StatsCan more broadly. We're actually a very small division of about 30-something people. So it's not the majority.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to add?
I can speak from the computing side. There's a lot of work there, as I had mentioned during my part of the presentation, that actually has incredibly flexible educational requirements, particularly with regards to setting up the infrastructure, supporting people, writing documentation. So I actually see the opposite. I find that there's more and more demand for people with a wide variety of backgrounds at Statistics Canada to support our modernization efforts.
Great, thank you for your answers. And move on to the next question. Does StatsCan invest in employees' education and professional development? For example, language training, tuition reimbursements for courses, mobility with the department to gain more experience. So speaking from my own experience, I'm currently in the French language training program, and this is an opportunity my manager kindly offered. And I know some of my friends, they are indeterminate employees, and each of them have 1 year off. And some of them decided to pursue a second master's or master's degree through that arrangement. So I know that this StatsCan definitely encourages professional development. Anyone else would like to add?
I can add a bit to that, Merding. So if your education aligns, or educational goals, I should say, align with your position's objectives within your division, you can have that discussion definitely with your supervisor, chief manager, about wanting to have tuition reimbursement. That's a conversation between your supervisor and you, and if it's approved. But yes, they definitely do have tuition reimbursement as a part of Statistics Canada, but it's a conversation by basis. It's case by case. It's not an open opportunity for everyone.
Great. Anyone else would like to add?
With regards to continuous learning on the technical side, I can say that all my conferences and all my technical courses have been both fully reimbursed and were things that I was given the opportunity to pursue during work hours. So I have felt very supported in this way.
Nice, that's great. Okay, moving on to the next question. As a co-op student, how do you suggest we reach out to managers regarding wanting a job opportunity if none are advertised? Also, how to find the right people to connect. So for me, I was an international student, and I understand there are some restrictions for international students and their future employment with the government. So I just had an open conversation with my manager saying that I would like to continue working here, and how can I continue that. And he helped me with the paperwork, and there are like all kinds of opportunities. So I think it's really up to you to reach out to your managers, at least to express your interests. And also don't wait until the last day of your co-op term. Do it probably a month or two once you started. Anyone else would like to answer this question? Maruk? Okay, anyone else? Okay, sure. Moving on to.
Sorry, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, sure.
If there are no opportunities advertised, something else you can do is check out GEDS, which is GEDS. You can Google for it, and it's a government directory. We have had people cold email us from there looking for job opportunities. Even if we aren't able to help someone out in the moment, we do often share resumes with other groups who we think might be interested in the resume. So that is definitely an option as well. It's definitely scary, I would say, to cold email for a job, but at the same time, it's very brave, and we recognize that. So we do try to do our best to see what we can do on our end.
Thank you, Liz. Anyone else would like to add? Okay, moving on to the next one. What are the most represented classification in StatsCan, AS, PM, CR? Most of the colleagues I work with are in the EC classification, but we also have CS and positions for methodologists. Anyone else can add more to this one? So of course we have HR and librarians, as we mentioned, and also there are people working in the finance division. Okay, the next question. Quel programme en analyse de données à goût terme 4 et 6 mois suggérez-vous à des études d'étendre déjà une matrice? Probably Sarah, you can help me to read this again.
Yes. Quel programme en analyse de données à court terme suggérez-vous à des étudiants détenant déjà une maîtrise ou un baccalauréat? That is, what program in data analysis, short term, 4 to 6 months, do you suggest to students having a master's or an undergrad? I think, personnellement, je pense que le programme ici, full-time, c'est à longue durée, de 4 mois. Je pense que ce serait l'opportunité qu'on parlait qui est ad hoc. Donc, on applique à travers le Federal Student. Je ne me rappelle pas exactement du nom à portée de main, mais je peux le sortir. Ce serait lui que je recommanderais. Je vais te le sortir tout de suite. 30 secondes. Ça load. Je ne sais pas si quelqu'un d'autre veut, if anybody wants to jump in while I open the name of the program. Okay, I have it. Perfect. Alors, un programme de 4 à 8 mois, je dirais que c'est, comme on avait parlé, mon ordinateur ne peut plus. C'est celui du programme fédéral d'expérience de travail étudiant. That is the Federal Student Work Experience Program, and that one is a shorter term duration program. If you want further information, I suggest to refer to the Muslim Federal Employee Network shared their resource, the current link that we put in the slide. But that one would be the one that would be more applicable because it's 4 to 8 months, it doesn't start and end at a certain specific time, and you can apply when there's an opening. You can get it if you qualify.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else would like to add? Also, we're approaching the end of our showcase. So sorry we couldn't answer all of your questions, but our contact information is in the last slide of our showcase. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. And I'll pass it to Jen or Mark for the closing remark.
Thanks so much to the team for presenting. I know that I learned a lot. I'm sure I have a lot of questions and you all do too. You can definitely reach out to the folks who presented today or reach out to someone in that department who's a specialist in that area, either through finding them on social media or using the link to GEDS that we have provided in the chat. So thank you to everyone in our audience today for attending this week's Departmental Showcase featuring StatsCan. Don't forget that next week we'll be presenting CRA, and which will be another interesting one. I'm sure we all have a lot of perceptions about what happens at CRA, so I'm excited to learn about that as well. Merci à tout le monde d'avoir assisté aujourd'hui. Just as a reminder, you can find all of the resources from the showcase along with the recordings from previous sessions on the Fin Wiki page. The links have been posted in the chat for the presentation, as well as the presentation is already posted up on the wiki if you want to go up and look for more links there. Please be sure to check back tomorrow if you want to have the link for the recording. N'oubliez pas de nous joindre la semaine prochaine pour la présentation de l'Agence de revenus du Canada. Et pour vous faire rappeler que toutes nos ressources sont sur notre page wiki. Le lien sera là pour l'enregistrement dès demain. So thank you to everyone for your time today. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much.